The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. The 2025 Area Truck Series is already on its round number 4. We've seen a wealth of different tracks here in the 2025 campaign, rounding out a race at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, which put on one of the most exciting races we'd ever thought we'd see up at the Magic Mile. But as we know, everything is bigger in Texas, and let's see if the excitement can come along and make that happen here today. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Area Truck Series. We are going to be doing 120 laps around the mile-and-a-half here in Fort Worth. It is going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the production truck here. And I do have Mr. Bradley Dalton here, of course, with me for all of the color commentary. So, Brad, we saw a phenomenal race at Loudon last week, which is really not something that most utters out of people's mouths. We saw guys running 4 or 5 wide on the apron. I don't think we're going to see guys on the apron, but I think we're going to see a pretty good race here tonight.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm excited to be here at Texas, the Lone Star State. And, well, this track, it produces good racing in general. It's going to be a fun time here tonight. And, yeah, we might not get 5 wide down on the apron like we saw back last week in New Hampshire, back when Peyton Howe led 89 laps to get the win. Last caution was with 46 to go. So we may not get that tonight, but hey, you never know. Somebody wants a cowboy hat. Somebody's feeling good. But I don't know who to put my money on. This season's been wild here in trucks.
Yeah, there has been a wealth of different drivers up front. A few, such as Sebastian Marin, who has just been absolutely lights out. Dominated last week at New Hampshire and at Miami, trying to go for the for you bowling fans, trying to go get the turkey here and get 3 races in a row here. But we'll see how that does come to fruition here at a mile-and-a-half. I mean, we went to a mile-and-a-half, Brett, at Homestead, Miami, but Homestead, of course, being a more traditional oval. Here we come to a cookie cutter mile-and-a-half for the first time this season. Kind of the bread and butter of what you'll see. So this will really start to test these drivers as, kind of what the majority of the schedule is made out of.
Yeah, this is really the sort of traditional style of track that I'm expecting to see. Really, who's got what where. But then again, next week we go to Watkins Glen, but that's a completely different conversation in and of itself. It's going to be interesting to see who can really make a run in on the season to get things up. A couple big notes from last week. Jake Nichols was up 12 places in the points up into P9. Cameron Hearn and Jake Fisher lost 13 points respectively in the points. A few other mid changes up and down. Rocky Boyd is up in 5th place in points. So drivers, we're only into Texas race 4, but this season is just 17 races and it moves real quick week to week. So if you're already looking to the end of July, you got to be thinking about it. And really right now is the time to start kind of cementing that point.
Exactly that. We'll see how it does come into fruition here. We are introducing a feature to the channel we haven't done in a few weeks. We do have some of these drivers here on board. We'll get some onboard perspectives. You can see our Brady Bunch wall as we see it up here. We got 5 drivers here. We got Patrioli, we got Mercurio, we got Travis Beckner, Jake Fisher, and Troy Edson here, all going to be taking part in our driver segment here, and we'll get some pictures from them as the race does progress. But here we are getting into qualifying, Brad. We've had go or go homers in most every race this season here, as the landscape here at Texas has gone radioactive. I'm not sure if a nuclear power plant has exploded, but pertaining to our DNQ list and how many are on the cut line, you have a number for us?
One person will be going home. It is one driver that will not make the run, and we do have several end of lines we'll talk about during warm-up. But yeah, it's one driver from that open run that might not make it in tonight. So we'll see here who it is that makes it through, who doesn't. But yeah, these open drivers, I mean, when you show up to a race, Corey, and you're that one driver who doesn't make the show, that hurts.
Yes, it does, as times are coming in right now, and we'll bring up some of our telemetry here. Troy Edson on track. We got Rocky Boyd disqualified 4th here. Philip Groner going top of the hill. Sebastian Marin, he is just on his out lap right now. Here's Dominic Previtt here, or Previtt, excuse me. Trying to get these names memorized by now.
The names are... Some of these names are hard. Some of these drivers, I feel like every time we say their name right should give us $1, but maybe that's just a me opinion. AJ Stravato here looking pretty good on his run coming through down the backstretch. Sebastian Marin also looking pretty good so far. Ryan Andrew, though, with that 29.874. Tell you what, that's a good time to get through, but we know this is a competitive field here, Corey. I mean, they are quick.
All right, AJ Stravato, I think he has... I think we only get one lap, might just be running a lap for practice here. Is Jeremy Miller, Lee Norton in the chicken. If I'm not mistaken, I think Sebastian's in a different car today. I did do a Trading Paints update just before we went live. Did a refresh on everything, so if something's wrong, don't shoot the messenger. Maybe I'll try once more just for good measure here. But let's see what Lee Norton does coming off turn number 4. And the chicken will cluck itself into the fence with great force into the 24th spot.
I mean, it's a good thing that these trucks get a fun little magical simulator reset, because if they didn't, well, that'd be a race over for somebody. Doggone. Mason Kane here, our Area Daytona winner. Let's see what he can bring to the table here coming across the line. 29.94. Good time, but only good enough for P10. Again, that's how competitive this field is.
Yes, indeed the case here. Who else do we got? Jordan Coots. He is on his lap's not tracking. There it goes. So a lot of these guys going right towards the end. Anybody on a live lap right now? No, everyone. Our last 7 drivers or so are just finishing things up here. Let's see what we got. We got Travis Beckner.
Pretty good time there for Beckner. Brings him up into 18th, though. I mean, I say pretty good time because they're still faster than me, but only into 18th. Like, doggone.
Yeah, indeed. Who else do we got here?
Slaughter. He's one of our go-or-go homers.
Yep, I'll follow him and see what he can muster here. Mr. Brad Slaughter Jr. 29.83 will put you P1. No surprise. Got to be Mr. Marin up there. And that's going to be probably top 10, I'd say, for Mr. Brad Slaughter. That'll put him in the 11th spot. So just on the outside of that. Who's first? We got a chill cut here. Alex, I believe, is with us. No, he was going to be with us here today on cameras. He's 13th. Had some issues there. Gabe Herschel looks like he is going to be the final one at the qualifying buzzer. Going to be a 30 flat. And 34th. I see 42 guys registered, Brad, here in qualifying. So that being said, I think everyone's making it, unless something's changed that I'm not aware of.
I'll wait to see if I can get a confirmation here, but I think you could be correct. We'll get a confirmation here from Race Control pretty quick on who got what, where, when. So just trying to tell if there's any certain drivers that may be in more trouble than others that we should keep an eye on. Really don't think so. So we'll see here what admin's rule is, but end of lines here, Corey. I mean, even with this, there's a lot of end of lines that need to be served. Number 1 is Seth Noel. Forrest Smith, Rocky Boyd, Caden Diedrich, Jonathan Evans, Alex Chilcutt, Tanner Bethea, Lee Norton, and Dominic Previtt are all of our end of lines here. And the one driver not making it is the number 85 of Norton. So that is your D&Q.
Oh, so we're starting 41 here today, apparently. So unfortunately, the chicken will not cluck itself into victory circle here. But that will be what it is. He'll try and fight for it next week on the road course. Some guys look forward to the road course. Some guys dread it. Let's take a look at our weather conditions here from virtual Fort Worth. It's going to be 6:30 virtual time, so we're going to run under the lights here. Trying to take a look here on the back end. Date-wise, we are racing out of May 3rd, so sun will probably come out maybe around 7:45 or so, maybe at an hour and a half into this race. I think the lights will turn on. Things will get a little bit dark, Brad. We know how the most recent update has presented itself, as we have a little bit of bump drafting here at Texas with Groner and Senesac. We know it's been getting a little bit dark, though. That light crew ain't turning the lights on the absolute last second, trying to save on some energy. So we'll see how that comes into play.
Yeah, it's been weird to kind of see how that plays out, and it'll be interesting to see how the drivers judge the kind of the gaps and different things if we get to that point where it's truly dark. And well, for some reason iRacing said we can't afford the electric bill, which we all know is not the truth, but we'll see how they decide to play it, what happens there, and how the trucks decide to react. Surely the drivers will be smart enough kind of put their head on and tune it down a couple of degrees there, Corey, to get through the night. That is always the best way to go for the long run, because of course to finish first you must finish.
First you must finish.
Yeah, you mush. Yeah. You don't must, you mush.
Mush it on up here. But again, we want to thank everyone who is tuned in here. Our cameras here today, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. You can check them out. Link in the description, logo on the screen, so you can kind of know what indeed you're looking for. Want to thank everyone for tuning in to the PTR TV on our mission to 1,600. We're about 30 away, so if you're watching, you can easily help us with that if you have not already done so. And if you're watching on Twitch, consider following the Area iRacing Twitch. You can subscribe to it to catch the Area Truck Series Tuesdays and Thursdays for the Pro Series this season. You can use custom Area emotes in the chat while earning double points as a subscriber, of which you can earn for free merchandise. If you consider doing that, you can spend $5 a month to get those special benefits there on the Twitch side of things here. So help the league out there in that capacity. But looks like from what we're seeing here, Brad, in the warm-up session, and really in practice for that matter, Texas is kind of widening out the groove here with the different bankings on each side. Does kind of take two different approaches, but we're seeing guys utilizing multiple lanes, which is always good for us spectators.
Yeah, the multiple lanes gets fun because it produces just better racing, in my opinion. You see drivers really mix things up. It gets some more fighting going and kind of gets things through. I've been focusing on Jake Nichols fighting with the 23 going through. They're going down the backstretch right now, and they've been running different lines kind of back and forth with each other between the high line, the low line, looking around at just where they want to be, what they want to do, and enjoying it because, you know, once you see drivers start running those different lines, it really, again, it just makes it more competitive. You could see 2 wide. We might see 3 wide tonight, depending on how the drivers feel, but I think it's going to be good action regardless.
I knew something was up. Sebastian Marin, he is in the number 32 truck in Sim. He is in the 23 truck via livery. I know, I just wanted to say that. So we will have to omit that little mismatch. I updated Trading Paints. I updated the back-end software, which collects our paint schemes. And if it's wrong, it ain't my fault. But
it's his fault.
Yeah, usually it is. Always easier just to fight the messenger. But either way, that is the end of warm-up. So, again, our starting lineup here today is going to be brought to you by, of course, Central Mobile Homes. Looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clueston, and Sebring, head to centralmobilehomeinc.com to get started here today. But one thing we got to get started with, Brad, is that starting lineup, and let's go have you start it down for us here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Getting that starting lineup going, Sebastian Marin, the Puerto Rico driver there in the 32/23, going to be starting on pole with Ryan Andrew there in second place. From there we go Brian Mercurio, one of the Coast to Coast sim racers. Hopefully no more babies for them. And Philip Groner in P number 4. P5, Matthew Batby in the 89, with Tanner Love showing some love in 6th place. From there we're going P7, Tanner Bethea, and P8, Timmy Pacioli. We'll see if Timmy can patch up more than 8th place tonight. AJ Stravato on P9. Peyton Howell finds P10 here, Corey.
All right, heading outside of our top 10, we'll find the likes of Brad Slaughter Jr. and then Garrett Conrath going to be in the 12th position. 13th finds Alex Chilcutt. Jalen Handcamp in the 14th spot. Mason Kane in 15th and Justin Anasogak in the 16th spot. Danny Ware in 17th. Seth Noel in 18th. And rounding out our top 20, we find Mr. Jake Nichols and then Troy Edson there in the number 19 Toyota.
From there, we're going 21st, Jordan Kuntz and Travis Beckner in 22nd. 23rd is Casey Lakatis and Joshua. Wow, I just blanked. Joshua Ballet there in 24th. Gary Waterworth in 25th. Jake Fisher in 26th. From there, we're going P27, Bryce Benasak and Rocky Boyd III in 28th. 29th place will find us Jeremy Brown and then Ben T. Pierce from Tuscaloosa in P30.
And then just rounding out things here, Josh Previtt in 31st. Garrett Grant in 32nd. 33rd we'll find Devin Johnson with Gabe Herschel in 34th. Then we have Josh Parrish and Tyler Hallman. Forrest Smith 37th, and then Lee Norton, we are told, is the DNQ here. Jeremy Miller, Doug Denise, and Eric Wolf, Dominic Privet, and that will finish things out here for our starting lineup. Get 120 laps around this place. We will have 4 sets of Goodyears to avail themselves in pit lane with 4 no stages, full fuel loads. Again, the fixed setups, 3 green white checkers, all kind of standard factoids that carry us along here in area.
I want to point something out really quick here, Corey, before we go green. If you get a good front stretch shot there, remember, my favorite thing about Texas is those caution lights right there. Those are my favorite thing here about Texas, is how it goes all the way down the fencing there on the front stretch. Also, we still have trucks coming out of the pits, and we're coming around turn 3 now. So thankfully, it looks like they're giving them 2 pace laps. We also do have those multiple end of lines that need to be served. The 1, the 15, 16, 24, 26, 60, 77, 85, and 94 serving those respectively.
We'll see all those penalties indeed here. And again, just to let you know, we'll be taking a perspective with some of our drivers here today. We got our Brady Bunch wall. We got 6 people. Looks like a couple people staring at their phones, and Troy Edson sideways here. I'll try to fix that because I don't think he is driving in that position, but we'll keep an eye on our drivers here as the race continues. And there's a spot-on view of the LED caution lights that just now turn off, indicating that we do have 1 to green.
I think we leave Trey sideways. I would like to think that Trey has bolted his sim rig up to his wall and is just driving facing the floor or the ceiling. I know he's not, but wouldn't that be funny? That motion rig just kind of flips through. My bet for the night here, Corey, I'm going to go ahead and call it 2 cautions on the night, and I am going to say that our winner is going to be the number 81, because I don't know who else to pick here. And Brad, I just think it works. So number 81, Brad Slaughter, I'm pulling for you tonight. It's probably the most commentator cursed you're going to see someone get in this series.
I was going to say that is the earliest take your bets I think we've ever played here. We usually play it around half to 2/3. So that being said, I don't know how you can go with anybody else but that number 32 based on how things have been, but very easily expect that he will have quite the challenge. Of course, Mercurio there in that 82. Philip Groner, he's overdue for a win. Ryan Andrew, he's been rather competitive. And I can remember Timmy Pacioli, he was the pole sitter last week at Loudon. He's back there in the 8th spot. And we'll see what he can muster. But coming off turn number 4 here in Fort Worth, Texas. No limits, Texas. The only limit here today is the confines of this racetrack. We're going to keep a nice clean race in, and let's have some fun while we're at it. Barney has the flag in hand, heading into the Geico restart zone. Green flag. Let's go racing from Texas.
Everybody gets across the line. They're looking good. Up front, it is Sebastian Marin and Ryan Andrew trying to keep things going. Andrew looks a little wiggly there on the high side, so that's going to open things up. 3 wide going on in the background. All the trucks are going to kind of take this moment, try to figure things out. That is a truck diving way down low early on, and we're still keeping that 3 wide sort of action happening. Mid-pack here, double file. They go out of 4 for the first time, and, well, your pole sitter Sebastian Marin will lead lap 1 with Brian Mercurio right hot on his heels.
Yeah, but as we complete 1 lap here at Texas, I would estimate here, again, pure estimate is that sun must be pretty brutal there with the glare that we're seeing through the center of the corner, but I would estimate a fuel load here to be somewhere in the scope of about 55 laps. But again, I haven't driven nearly as much as I used to, so hopefully that is accurate, but we'll see indeed what it is. But will we go green? I see some dust kicking up there, so someone's getting that little corner of the quad oval here as they're still 2 by 2 for about the latter end of the top 10.
Yeah, and as we keep that 2 by 2 going on the backside of the top 10 here, going through, you see trucks are kind of just taking a little bit of a dive here and there. Everybody's thinking about something somewhere where they can. They're playing the early game of feeling out the grid. They're trying to get an idea of who's going to do what, who's where, who's going to kind of give the pressure. And as we see Mercurio, I mean, look at that, just lean back, even leaning a little bit into the rig, kind of trying to get that feeling of turning. So doing a good job here, getting things going early on, caution. Sticking through. And that is Joshua Ballet that I see falling way down the order.
Yeah, he is in that. That's Tyler Hallman in the 62. Had some problems. Let's go scope out said problems.
I believe Forrest Smith might have gotten involved as well.
Yeah, Josh got loose by his lonesome there in the center of 1 and 2. We have about 150 feet to save it here, of which he didn't quite save it, but didn't really hit anything. Now, where does the 62 come into play? That is a secondary issue of which we will have to sort out.
Looks like he wiggled trying to avoid the 7 there. So watch him here. He's trying to go high. He's trying to go. I don't know why he went high, though. Maybe that's, you know.
I mean, he was using the logic of gravity, and gravity let him down there because he thought, well, there's 20 degrees of banking here in the corner at Texas Motor Speedway, and that 20 degrees is going to bring that car down to the flat, but instead there was still enough upward inertia, as I bring my Bill Nye the Science Guy vocabulary into it, to bring him up the track, and luckily both of those trucks should carry on really minimal impact there.
Yeah, and that's going to be very fortunate, too. Maybe just some flat-spotted tires and a little bit of just not ideal moments for him. But, you know, you can live on flat-spotted tires, ideally. Big thing is not hitting anything too hard and try to get away with it and live to fight another day, which seems like all the trucks have managed to do here. And I'm glad we're calling them trucks and not cars this broadcast. I feel like we always end up messing that up, but it seems like today it's just clicked for me. I don't know about you, Corey.
Well, just for saying that, it's going to end up getting absolutely terrible here. So curse you for jinxing us here. But again, just to make sure we again cover all of our P's and Q's here. After our first caution flag, we can, of course, bring up one of our sponsors, and that'll be Hendry County Motorsports Park. They are the replay sponsor. Racing is back at Hendry County Motorsports Park. You can join them this Saturday to see Thunder trucks, street stocks, and more on Saturday, the 29th of March. Actually, is that outdated? Oh, my read is outdated here. But either way, you can see them on some Saturday. Tickets are $20 for adults. Kids aged 5 under are free. Get a family of 4-pack at $25. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America in Clewiston, Florida, off Highway US 27, HendryRacing.com. So, yeah, I don't know the exact date, but they did race Saturday night, and I'm sure it was a good race. And from what we have been told, Mr. Travis Beckner is one of the flagmen there. I believe that, I think Hunter Sleppy told me there. So you can see that.
So yeah.
Yeah, you can see that man there, Mr. Travis Beckner, currently in the position that is he's in the 28 and the 18 spot there. In that sponsor, yeah, Hendry County Motorsports Park Silverado. But are we still on 1 to green? Are we?
Yeah, we're 1 to green here. So, and real quick for Hendry, April 4th, they got open practice going. And then April 5th, they have a Top Gun Sprints, which will be pretty cool. And the 4.6 Fords and Hendry Kids Karts. I don't have a kid, but.
Yep.
Hey, now.
And we did check coast to coast sim racing. No more kids. There was 2 weeks in a row. We did a celebratory rear spoiler reveal showing that there was congratulations to Jake Fisher and, pardon me for forgetting the other person who had a child. And it was team forbidden that no more children to be had. So Brian, if it was on your list, can't have one. So, but either way, he is going to start on the outside. Sebastian to the inside. Very much importance here at Texas is getting help on these restarts. We'll see which of these lines can be of more assistance here as we head ourselves into the restart zone, Brad.
Yeah, and the other driver, by the way, on Coast to Coast was Sean Farr, but we'll see who can take it far on this restart. That 23-32 Sebastian Marin gets the run and gets a good restart there. Brian Mercurio under pressure very quickly into turn 1, 2 by 2 we go. Where we stop? Well, I just don't really know. Bringing it around here, the 8 to the inside of the 82. Ryan Andrew looking for that second place as they come off of turn 2. Everybody keeping it nice and tidy this time around. And I tell you what, that 23 of Sebastian Marin takes off like a rocket ship on a restart. Through 3, Ryan Andrews still fighting for that second place, and I believe we'll clear for second place there, but still your leader, Sebastian Marin.
And this is the geometry of Texas at play here. You come into turn number 1 and 2. It's flatter because they reconfigured the track without doing any thought towards it. And it makes you slow down more. And now, for the most part, you come off turn number 2. You hit someone in the wall on the back. You come down the back straightaway, full head of steam. You're largely flat out here. You will have to crack the throttle and kind of wheel it later in a run. But largely, you're flat out through 3 and 4. And you're essentially terminal velocity. You really have a noticeable draft here towards the end of the front straightaway. It's finding a place to go with it. Mercurio finds his way to the inside of Ryan Andrew there. I don't think the lane was really there, but kind of shake and bake there. Found his space to the inside. But now, can he keep the momentum up down to the inside? And now through the inside of 3 and 4.
Well, Mercurio would certainly like to keep that space there and keep that run. He's in the inside. He's in the preferred line there. Ryan Andrew coming through on the outside will not clear. Second place now belongs to Mercurio, but what does he have to give Sebastian Marin, that 23? Well, I don't know that there's a lot to give there. He's pushing it. He's trying. Further back, they're going 2 by 2 there as we look back with Jake Nichols and Timmy Pacioli hopping on board with Pacioli, and Pacioli trying to patch his way through the field here. Gets behind the 73. 73 down to the low line, single file, they hold it here. And I tell you what, Corey, these trucks, they're settling in for the run, but I can't say they're very happy about the run.
Yeah, the longer you go into the run, eventually those tires run out. Well, they don't run out, but they run out of grip, and you'll be struggling through even 3 and 4. But 1 and 2 definitely takes multi-grooves, takes a little bit of finesse, because this turn is essentially, I don't know the exact width on it, maybe ChatGPT or Siri does, but turn 1 and 2, it used to be about 40 feet. It is probably about 80 feet of corner, and finding your lane there is actually a little bit harder than you would forecast it to be. But coming off of corner number 4 to the start finish, Marin leads yet another lap, but Mercurio is certainly hungry, looking a little bit of a move to the outside, maybe trying to set a crossover up and get a run off of 2.
Yeah, Mercurio's going to look for it here. Can he find it is the $1 million question. Run through. Looks like he's got a little bit of a run starting here, but will he get that pass done going down into 3? Well, he's going to stick behind right there, single file for now as they go behind him there. You've still got 2x2 going on, but tell you what, when you got a Ford right up your rear bumper like that in a truck, you don't know what to do there if you're a Tundra. It's a dangerous game there to play, coming through 1 and 2 yet again. Marin, I mean, has a good defense going, but I'm not going to say that defense is going to work forever.
Yeah, eventually. Well, we saw last week with Zach Nichols at New Hampshire. Wasn't the fastest truck, but played some masterful defense and almost won himself the race in doing so. Here comes Tanner Love in the 71. I think he left the door open for Danny Ware in that number 35 down to the inside. Travis Beckner, as we spoke of a little bit ago, saw him on camera. He is in that number 28, trying to find the best place to go. A little bit further back from him is Troy Edson. Spoke of him. We're also taking a look at him. And close-up camera here. I'm trying to omit his TikTok portrait-style camera here. So I zoomed in, and you can see he is rather focused, as everybody is here. He is in that 20th spot. Trying to find some other good battles going on. Best battle is in the mid part of the pack, and even going back to the mid-20s, Garrett Grant and Josh Previtt there. Trying to find some action there in that mid-20s.
Yeah, still plenty of battles to be found all throughout this field here. Even though everyone's kind of just settling into the run here, they're settling into the go. But as soon as a driver kind of sniffs a move into turn 3, they're taking it. They're looking for the pass, and they're trying to just send it through, get it done, and be pretty happy about what they get done if they can. Sometimes it's difficult, though, I will say, for the drivers to really find that move as we ride on board here with Jake Fisher. And Jake Fisher is currently fighting there in the P19 position with Beckner. Beckner now around Hankamp to the outside, and now Beckner will just continue his way forward. Fisher still trying to fight ahead, behind, all the way through, but tell you what, the trucks are handling this track pretty well so far. Battle up in the front, though.
Yes, we are. Battle for the second spot. Ryan Andrew to the inside of Mercurio tries to keep it down there through turn number 2 and then loses the momentum off of the corner. Now Mercurio has a little bit of draft from Marin down the back. That'll allow him to clear. Philip Groner says, hey, let me get into this battle. He has Matthew Batby right to his rear bumper, almost doing some Texas bump drafting. Now he's looking to the inside of that 609 Motorsports Silverado, trying to force some space, of which he did. Go side by side into 1.
Can he keep that momentum up, though, and get past that number 8 of Ryan Andrew? It looks like there's about a truck's gap there to the inside through 1 and 2 that's being left by Andrew. Is that enough, though, is my question. That 89 of Batby looking pretty good. Look behind him there, the 49, the 73. They're having a time going through that 73. Jake Nichols getting pretty feisty. Jake will get that pass done, clear up, and now hold on to it. The 13 now trying to go around the 49 down the inside.
Yep, side by side for that 8th spot. And then you have Adre Stravado in the mix here. He's down to the inside. Peyton Howell, Mason Kane, our Daytona winner, back there in the 10th spot in that number 31 truck. And then Brad Slaughter to the inside of him. So starting to string out here, but I think this is that time in the run, Brad. Comers and goers start to happen. If we bring up a reference driver in this situation, we'll bring up Adre Stravado as a reference. The best lap for Mr. Stravado is a 30.76. 30 flat. His last time by, just about a 31 flat. So that's almost a second of fall off. And then if we converse that to our race leader, right around 0.8 of a second of fall off here in about 20 laps. So if you saved your tires, this is the time of the race where you're going to start shining.
Yeah, and that saving tire game can be easier said than done, that's for sure. And we're seeing that all the way through. And with this fixed setup too, it's a lot about the driver. It's not as much about how can you tune the setup to save tires. A lot of it comes down to the driver as well, and them being able to hold on really well. Mason Kane up 5 places on the day, looking for his second win here in the season. Maybe going to be able to get it here. We're only 20 laps in, though, 22 laps in. There's a little bit of that Texas bump draft from behind from Mason Kane, from Brad Slaughter, and we bring it around through 3, and well, tell you what, Brad Slaughter wasn't hanging around, wasn't showing any love, as Tanner Love also gets past.
And things up front starting to get tighter and tighter. Mercurio He is looking to the outside, but no momentum, no avail at that moment. But he got a little bit of a crossover, kind of drove down the hill very, very minimally. Thought it was going to give him a run down the back, but that didn't come into fruition. They're going to enter turn number 3 against single file brigade. This is where you'll start to see a little bit more slippage, a little bit more slidage coming through 3 and 4 on these older tires. You'll start to see guys want to go flat out, but just not have it in the tank to be able to do so.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the drivers, not over driving the truck, and that is something that is really just learned throughout time and with patience here as we get our Whiplash Sim Cam telemetry there in the bottom right. And you can see here, 4th gear, 172 going into turn 3. 73, I mean, you're gaining speed through 3 and 4. Just hold that thing out. Light clack of the throttle there. As you mentioned, Corey, we're just not going to talk about what I said. Be really curious to know how slow they're getting into 1 and 2, though. That's really where I think if we see someone lose control, that's where it's going to be. But down into the 150s.
Yeah, it's about a 17-mile-an-hour delta from each side of the Texas Motor Speedway. And it is kind of a little interesting side note. Of course, 2016, they reconfigured this place. First race on that configuration was April of 2017. Then they went through a phase of absolutely glopping just ridiculous amounts of PJ1 down here to try to make the racing better. It ended up running IndyCar out of town because the IndyCars couldn't make do on that PJ1. Finally, about 6-7 years after stopping the PJ1, this track has finally gotten to a state where the racing has started to improve. Not going to call it a fan favorite, but it's starting to improve. Remember, it held a couple very mid all-star races for a few years. And there was rumors that iRacing was helping them on a 3rd reconfiguration of this track. Nothing has came from that, obviously, but it was in the rumor mill that iRacing was working on a new configuration of Texas. But there was a lot of landmark confines that they had to work with, because when you look at Texas, there's the main grandstand, and then in turn number 2, you can see on the bottom left of that screen, you have that big condo building. So any configuration changes they made had to fit within the main structures that were already in place.
It's so interesting to think that we're at a point where iRacing could be helping NASCAR reconfigure Texas Speedway. That's such a weird series of events to kind of say together, which, I mean, if you're big into sim racing, it almost wouldn't surprise you, and maybe it would, because I hear that, and even me, I'm kind of like,
well, they already did Atlanta. Atlanta was an iRacing facilitated construction. The Chicago Street Course, remember, we had that in the Pro Invitational era. iRacing went out to Chicago, scanned the track, and eventually they built it, and 97% of that configuration was built in iRacing, and they even modified it via iRacing. So we are at a really big point in that, but that's just that's a podcast topic, of which this is not, but maybe it is one day. Slaughter and Howell fighting. I think in this situation, Howell is the passee as the driver at the top of the track, so that'll move Slaughter back. Patrioli is to the inside lane. Stravato side by side with the 49 of Conrath at present. Coming off turn number 4, as we got ourselves a knock on my particle board IKEA desk. We got ourselves a nice little run going here, Brad.
Yeah, it seems like the trucks are really settled in here, and this is what you see in area. You see those good long green flag runs develop where the trucks are pushing, the drivers all know their limits, and they're going to continue, just to sort of develop it. At some point, somebody will flip the switch and ask a little bit more out of the tires, and we may get a caution. Who knows? We could see this thing go green. We've seen area races go green time and time again, so it's not something that's unknown to them to see long green flag runs. It's just a matter of really who cracks first. Right now, I don't see anyone that really feels like cracking, but this field is still very tightly contested. You still got Pacioli, Stravato, Hal, Slaughter, Hankamp, and Beckner battling. There's still plenty of side-by-side to be found through the field, and even then, Sebastian Marin hasn't gotten that far of a run up in the front. He's only about 0.4 of a second off of the lead, or off of second place, so Brian Mercurio still there in a position, I think, to apply pressure.
Well, he's 0.4 back, so now he's kind of out of the slipstream, the draft range per se. And at this point in the race, he's kind of at that juncture where he's either he's starting to fall even more. So we talked about tire wear, we talked about you know, the lap times falling off. Let's take a perspective at what Mercurio is mustering right now, and he's at about 1.4 seconds to fall off here at the Texas Motor Speedway, 30 laps into the race. Again, we're probably expecting, I'd say, at least another 20. But if you're expecting a green flag flare, you may consider doing an alternate strat in this race. You may consider breaking it up, pitting at lap 40, and then adding another stop and having those fresh tires. I think, Brad, we may have enough tire fall off here to where it is plausible to consider doing an extra stop if you're going to bank on this running green.
I don't think it'd be a bad decision either. I think the big question would just be, can you make up enough on fresh tires to offset anything? But that's something the drivers will be calculating. They'll be, you know, playing with the idea in the background to decide what's the best idea here, Corey, because some of them are going to want to just run it and kind of play that cookie cutter strategy, but somebody somewhere always wants to be the one to mix it up and find something different on the night. And can you ever really blame them when you want to try something different? I mean, the worst that happens is, you know, you don't end up in the best result, but sometimes you really pull things off and get things going. That 73 Jake Nichols, I tell you what, I think that truck might have an extra rear bumper on the front by the time this is said and done, because he was right up the back of AJ Stravato there down the front stretch.
Speaking of backs and things that can go on them, you can buy yourself some merch. Race fans, visit shop.AREAiRacing.com for high-quality merchandise at low prices. Shop from over 100 selections of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and area accessories. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.AREAiRacing.com. There was no segue in that, but I had a segue, but you ran on with it, and then I had to find a new segue, so not the best, but we got to get our ad reads in to make sure that you can help our series out here. Battle going on for the, what is that going to be, the third spot. Bat B closing in on the rear bumper of Mr. Ryan Andrew here, as we're starting to really have some separation. This is about a second and a half behind that number 32/23 truck.
Yeah, that gap continuing to open up. Things have really slowed down. Mercurio's running about a tenth and a half a lap slower at this point, which is really interesting to see between him and Marin. Andrew and Batby still taking it side by side down the back stretch, down into 3. It's going to be that 89 of Batby in that Hendry County Motorsports truck to the inside, and then Andrew will hold the high line. Can he make that pass stick? Well, he's going to try here. We'll see what happens as they go through side by side. And I tell you what, man, this is what I like about Texas. You still see good racing in Texas where the trucks will hold it side by side for extended periods. The big problem for them is that Philip Groner is right there in 5th place, and the more they hold it side by side, the more I think that number 11 of Philip Groner will be thinking, let me get a piece of this. I can get past both y'all and be faster on my own.
Because as we do know, once you start running side by side, you're burning more tires. You're making that a lot more difficult on your set of Goodyears, so that makes it even more difficult, allows other drivers to have a perspective, have a chance to get by you. But we'll see what happens here as this battle does continue. Going back a little bit further back. And again, still battling is Stravato and Conrad. They've been going for quite some time here. Them battling.
Yeah, they're not giving it up there for Stravato in 7th on back, which, again, just, you know, I think some of the drivers behind him, Conrad, Nichols, and Tanner Love, are possibly just happy. And, Corey, we've got green flag stop starting there in the back of the field. It looks like Josh Ballet is in. Yeah, Slaughter's in. Man, look at that, starting to see things.
Yeah, this is, we also have had... Yeah, we've had about a few drivers pop in, and then, like I said, lap number 40 was a spot where I expected those to come into play, because that gives you a chance to do essentially a 3-stop race, 40, 80, no, a 2-stop race actually, or you can try to do the. Actually, I don't think you can get to halfway. It's going to be pretty hard to get to halfway, but either way, that's going to be a very big tire situation there. This guy's, remember, about a second and a half a lap. Somebody is entering and de-entering the world there, so we will not focus on him, but that is a battle going on roughly in the top 5.
Yeah, that's a Batby that seems to be having a little bit of a time there. Jake Nichols into the pits now with Garrett Grant. So every lap we're seeing a couple more trucks decide to make the dive here as they go. The 73 is in as well. So everyone just really looking at, you know, as they go, what are they going to do? What are they not going to do? And I don't know if you want to be the first one to pit or pit a little bit later, what the best decision is here as we continue around. It doesn't look like anybody in the very front of the field is planning on pitting yet. But the big thing, too, is if you do a green flag pit stop and a caution, untimely caution happens to come about, well, things can get mixed. Oh, the 30 and the 55. That did not seem nice from either person.
Yeah, Josh Parrish got the shortest end of the stick on that, our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay here. And yeah, well, Josh, he was already on struggle bus as it was, and then I think he was heading into his pit, and also was Miller. So yeah, bad to worse there for both parties involved, because the 30 of Jeremy Miller completely missed his pit stall at that time as well. But makes you wonder, when are these leaders coming in? We're on lap 45, coming to 45 anyways. I don't think 60 is in the picture. If you're watching this live and you can give us some deets, is lap 60 even plausible? Let us know. Because if it's not plausible, Brett, I wouldn't want to stay out any longer than I have to, because that's just more time you're losing at the back end of a run.
Yeah,
or the beginning of a run, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know if it is or isn't here, and I'm trying to look at lap times really and compare them between trucks that have pit and trucks that haven't. Still not really seeing big lap time improvements, even with trucks that have pit. It seems like possibly a lot of them took fuel only that pit in. Doug DeNice, Rocky Boyd, Seth Noel, they took fuel only that I can see. Joshua Ballet in 18th place is the furthest up truck that has done a full set. But those that did pit that are further back, Brad Slaughter, Anna Sogak, those trucks, I mean, they're running mid-30s versus your race leader is running a 31.4, 31.5. More trucks into the pits now. Beckner, Brown, DeNice, Alex Chilcutt is in, Pierce is in, Tanner Bethea is in. So trying to tell who's in with what, making what moves, and it looks like for a majority they are taking 4 tires. So Previtt, Boyd, Seth Noel,
right, Sonic,
yeah, just those few trucks that it looks like chose fuel only and to keep going. It's kind of a interesting decision because they're losing a lot of time.
Seth Noel, Rocky Boyd, I mean, you're losing 2 seconds a lap, but I mean, I guess they, and you have to remember, we also have 4 sets of tires as well, so I'm not sure where that is going to come into play, because I would not think that we'd even come close to running out of tires here at all, but we'll see what happens. That's the 99 of Kunst and Mason Kane coming to the attention of their crew. Timothy Pacioli and Philip Groner battling for what is now the 5th position here on circuit. Timmy Pacioli in that number 86 car. Let's see if he comes to the attention of his crew. He will not do so. Started this race in the 8th spot, currently in the 5th. You can see how serious he is there. Got a candle running in his background there on the dresser, all the way up yonder on the track. Tell you, I can't actually have a candle where I live. It's actually in my lease agreement that I can't have a candle. You believe that?
That's a weird little lease agreement, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how to feel about that one. 35 is in.
Danny Ware.
More trucks in, going through and out. Danny Ware has a black flag, too, so I believe that's probably a too fast on entry, if I have to guess, that caught him out.
Well, take a look and see if anybody else is this time by. Is pit road a occupied place? Not at present here. Is somebody exiting the pits there, entering turn number 1 down there on the flat? I think that was Josh in the 7 truck. But still waiting on our race leader, and Mercario as well. Maybe, just maybe, lap 60 is something that we can take advantage of here today. And that would allow them to do that halfway. Maybe do it as a 1 stop. They're losing about 1.5 seconds a lap, so you'll have to do some math and find out what strat's going to work, as I'll tell you, missing your pit stall certainly isn't going to help. And does he have... What is that, like guys in suits as his pit crew there? It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's what it looks like here. I'm actually trying to get a better angle on my side to tell exactly what's going on. Marin, it looks like slowing down to come in here, and there's the 13 coming in, AJ Stravato, but Sebastian Marin, the 23-32, in from the race lead. So race leader has now called it and said, you know what, I can go 52 laps. And let's see who goes where. I have a feeling that if he's going...
I thought he missed his box there. It might have been me just overstating things there out of drama, but staying on circuit for one more lap is Mr. Mercario, interestingly enough. Trey Edson, he has remained on the track as well. That number 19 truck, he is... Well, where did he start here on the day? Just as a perspective of him, started 20th, running in 5th. Again, that is largely via strategy at this moment, but we'll see what he can muster as the race does continue. Waiting to see when Mercario is coming in. Here comes Brad Slaughter to the outside, and here he comes this time by. Nice smooth entry, and someone who had a slightly less smooth entry, Ryan Andrews, there entering the pits as well. And
yeah, some drivers have been really caught out on that pit entry. That was why Danny Ware had his black flag, was he absolutely smoked the tires on entry and slid for a hot minute. I think it's interesting if you look at Seth Noel and Rocky Boyd. They're running 31.5 and 31.7 respectively, but they're currently showing second and first, and Gabe Herschel ahead still hasn't pit. Casey Lukaitis hasn't pit, and then Dominic Previtt is also going to be behind them. He did a 5-second pit stop as well. So, I mean, they're running 31.7s. It looks like they're about a second off the pace compared to the cars behind that took 4 tires, but if they have enough of a gap, I don't know if it's going to play out for them, but I tell you what, they rolled the dice, and it seems like it's going to get them in some pretty decent track position when it's all said and done.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Still waiting on, as you can see, 5 drivers to come in. And if they can make it to lap 60, then actually, yeah, I mean, no, they pitted on the first caution. So either way, they still won't be able to make it to lap 60. It's just kind of hope and pray out of caution. Here comes Lukaitis. Still waiting on Boyd and Noel. Sebastian Marin, he's currently running in the 9th spot. This will eventually be our leader. And in second behind him, I believe, is going to be Garrett Conrath. We're really all over the place here because of our strap. Brian Mercario, you can see on the ticker there, he is in 15th. He is about 6 or 7 spots behind where Marin is, but on track right now, you can see he is in turn number 1 and 2, and Marin is middle of the back, so that's about a quarter of a lap.
Yeah, Lukaitis just came in and out, is currently exiting onto the backstretch now. Looking through, so Seth Noel, Rocky Boyd, and Dominic Previtt, 5-second pit stops 51 laps ago. Brad Slaughter Jr., 17 laps ago pit. Anna Sogak, 17 laps ago pit. So you do the math on that, they pitted lap 40. So if they're looking at doing a 40-80 pit stop strategy and running a little bit longer, maybe they're rolling the dice, hoping for a caution somewhere. They're really hoping someone overcooked that green flag stop to get things through. We'll see what happens with them as Brad Slaughter's battling it out. Jake Nichols here for what is it's our pseudo race lead right now, potentially. But I'm kind of with you here, Corey. I think that number 23 is Sebastian Marin, probably in the best position, but I also do want to shout out Dominic Previtt, showing up 39 places there in P3 currently. That's a huge run up.
Yeah, and I'm always partial to a number 94 vehicle. Again, that is my personal number whenever I do find myself on the service. This time by, he will take to the attention of his crew here right around that halfway point in the race. Coming straight in at that second pit stall for the 94. Noel, he will stay out one more time, run exactly to halfway. Now, out of perspective, I'm just trying to make sure, is he the one who has yet to pit at all? No, he did pit about 5 laps in. He has half a lap on Sebastian Marin. Marin here is in the middle of 3 and 4. Noel is coming off of 2. So he technically has half of a lap. But the but here is it takes about 40 seconds to pit here, so he'll lose a little over a lap once he eventually succumbs.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking here. I'm trying to do the math and really figure out where he's going to come out. Previtt came out back in 40th place after his pit stop, and that has put him in a unique position here because he took 4 tires, so he's going to be fast, all things considered. He's going to be off the pace compared to others here as Rocky Boyd is now into the box as well, dropping back. So that is going to leave Seth Noel, the number 1 in P1, the lone driver currently to be where he's at. Now he's in. What do you know? Now Marin cycles to the lead.
And he has cycled to the lead, and back to the front is back to the front is Sebastian Marin. It's past halfway, so let's talk about the High Banks podcast. 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 228 with Jacob Bell, available on Spotify. I don't know if episode 229 is out. It may be, but if not, you have 227 prior episodes that you can enjoy the High Banks podcast. And if you like entertainment, we have Elite Entertainment. They will add some life to your party this spring. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, and more. Visit a link tree that is in the description of this video for all contact information. At least I hope it's in the description. That's Brad's job.
Yeah, that is my job, and it should be in the description. If it's not, then somebody yell at me in YouTube chat. I'll put that on Jason Beckner to yell at me in YouTube chat. That's always a good option. Showing up, showing out.
Did you say Jason Beckner?
Yeah, Jason Beckner in YouTube chat.
Oh, okay. All right, I was going to say, I was just thinking about Travis here. Speaking of Travis Beckner, another one of those Hendry County Motorsports drivers. You can see there in chat, they were rained out Friday and Saturday last weekend, so they're looking forward to some racing this week here at Hendry. So let's see where he is currently running. Travis Beckner is in the 15th spot, technically up 7 spots on the day. It's one of those guys. This is another strategy, not a strategy, but just kind of a different taste. Some drivers like to race in a lit room, and some drivers like full focus. They like blackout. The only light they want to see is of that monitor. So what side of the spectrum would you be on, Brad?
Well, that's usually bad for your eyes to be in a black room with only a TV on, or at least that's what I was always told by my parents growing up, and maybe that was just them trying to get me to not play PlayStation all the time. NASCAR Thunder 2004 was my preferred game of choice on PS2, so very often they would tell me, no, you can't play when it's dark, because if it's too dark and you're just going to hurt your eyes. So I've always had a light on whenever I am on my PC or whenever I am sim racing specifically. I will have my overhead light on.
Yeah, I do have a light myself here for that same reason. Sensitive eyes. I think it is real. And by the way, I still remember my NASCAR Thunder 2004 win-loss record online. I was 228-9. You would not beat me at Richmond. You just wouldn't. So, miss those days because, well, we'll see what happens with NASCAR 25, due to come out later this year, produced by iRacing. So, see how that is. Maybe PTR TV will venture to console broadcasting. Who knows? Let's not count our business ventures before they hatch here. But Pacioli on a mission. He's up to 4th now. Andrew slightly dropping back to 5th. Slaughter in 6th. But let's bring up our stints on the ticker, Brad. Go over this because they are all over the place. Marin and Mercurio, freshest set of tires. Then you have Slaughter and Nichols. They have been out for quite some time, 26 plus laps. Anna Sogak there in 10th, also out there. So all we're having right now is a bunch of comers and goers as these guys try to gain the time they lost or hold on to the time that they're probably going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Nichols here, if you're Slaughter here, really at this point, this is just you trying to hold on. If you're Anna Sogak, you're just holding on. Garrett Grant's on 26 laps. as well. I mean, you're losing the pace here. So to give you an idea of the pace difference, I mean, our race leader is running 30.8 while we look back. Jake Nichols is at 31.4. I think some of that too is just conservation is coming into play as well. Again, the drivers know they have to get to lap 120, and that is easier said than done. So, I mean, if you know you have to get to lap 120 and you think you can do it with a little bit of strategy involved, you're going to save a little bit here in the mid-run, in the mid-flow, lap 70 of 120 just starting, and that will give you the ability to kind of get further in near the end.
Yeah, exactly. That just is one math equation. In the real world, they do have a little bit of contact there off the corner there in that battle. I think that was with Jordan Kuntz in that battle with Anna Sogak there. In the real world, they do actually have, I think, optimization software. It'll tell the drivers and the teams, all right, if you pit on this lap with the pace fall off and what everybody else is doing, you're going to come out right here. And they can literally forward the whole race just via a fancy program. Of course, these drivers don't have that. Some of them will have teams, some of them will have spotters, some of them will have third-party overlays to give them a little bit more information. But at the end of the day, a lot of these calculations and strategies, Brad, they're right in that noggin while you're turning left and going fast.
And a lot of that goes into intuition as Brad Slaughter is now pulling into the pits here. Lap 72. Didn't expect Slaughter to be coming in now, but Brad Slaughter, that 81, has decided enough is enough.
He can make it from here. He can make it from here, though, so that's pretty big. 48
Everybody
laps
else needs one more stop.
Yeah. We've seen upwards about 55 laps, so he can make it from here. He was running in 5th, so this race, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say the magic words, but it has that kind of feel to it. I don't want to say what kind of feel to it has, because then it'll jinx it. And I'm not trying to talk about feeling things, because that's for after this video is over with. But this race has certain vibes, Brad, and you might be able to play your strategy around it.
Yeah, I have the feeling that it's going to be a good race going through.
You just butchered it. I got a feeling.
Yes.
Are you trying to evade it?
Yes, I do. No, I just thought I'd just let it go and let you sing it because I knew you would if I didn't directly acknowledge it. So, thank you, Corey. Sometimes predictable. Just
leave it. That was just a T-ball. You just left it right there for me. I had to go for it here, but either way, lap 75, and where are we at with stints right now? I think we are going to anger all the gods here, and we're just going to take about a 60-second break because my water is empty now. We haven't had any cautions for me to fill it, so we're going to step aside. We'll go. You won't miss a thing. We'll be on our side-by-side. We'll be back in about 60 seconds. All right, a little more than 60 seconds, but we are back here on PTR TV for the Area Truck Series, round number 4 at the Texas Motor Speedway. 120 lapper on our plate. Had one early caution, and we have been clean and green for the remainder of the event. Sebastian Marin has led the majority of the race, 65 laps out of the 77, now 78 on the board. Only ones he really did not lead were via strategy, trying to go for that turkey and bowl the perfect race. We got a bunch of guys.
Sorry, the 87, Jeremy Brown just bend it into pit lane. Sorry, that one caught me off guard. I was looking at Mason Kane pitting, and all of a sudden...
That's DW, so that's the hospital wobble. He did a wall ride. and didn't stick the landing, and luckily we have invisible pits, or Mason Kane would have had a very, very unexpected crash there.
I tell you what, Andre would have been proud of that wall ride with as much skate that I know Andre's been playing lately on his emulator. He would have loved that wall ride because that was a good one. But yeah, no, I was just sitting there watching everybody go through, and all of a sudden I just see a truck slide through a truck in pit lane. That caught me off guard there, Corey. I apologize, but Mason Kane pitting at a weird time there. Tanner Bethea is now in, so a couple drivers kind of playing the odds here with pitting in on lap 80 of 120.
That's the our Brady Bunch walls. All the drivers still in the race. Usually at this point somebody's fallen out, but only guy to fall out of the race is the 24 of Caden Diedrich here. We do have a bunch of guys off the lead lap, and Garrett Grant coming into the attention of his crew. And now a lot of those guys there, Brad, remember we had a fair amount of guys pit around 40 laps into the event. They tried to split the race in equal thirds, if you will. You can see Jake Nichols, 38. We'll expect him. A bunch of other guys, Tyler Hallman there, and you can see 39 laps. So we'll have a bunch of guys pitting right around now, and then it's going to be a matter of the rest of them. You don't want to pit too late because then you don't have enough time to utilize your fresh tires. But if you pit too early, then you may not have gained all the time that you needed to per your strategy. So this is just one of those absolute. Larry Mack has 12 notebooks filled out trying to figure out what to do in this kind of race.
Yeah, you know, we talked about earlier on, well, actually, this was just a couple minutes ago, Corey. You mentioned, you know, real-life teams have, you know, the strategy software and all the different things, but the drivers don't have that. And the drivers have the intuition, though. They know when the truck's getting slow relative to everyone around them. They're going to know when to send this thing in, and, well, you just play it 2 and 2, and you come into the race probably with a few different strategies in mind. You know, you have that ideal, this is how I'd like it to go sort of set up, and then basically by turn 1, lap 1, you throw that one out the window and you go on to plan B, and then somewhere you find plan C. If you're a Formula One fan like me, you hear it all the time. Ferrari come on and say, we're going to plan H, how do you feel, question, and well, you have a driver somewhere that just yells what? Or leave me alone, I know what I'm doing. These drivers, they know what they're doing. They know what they want to do. They just have to find it here. More drivers in the pits. Travis Beckner is in. Travis Beckner, it looks like, doing a 4-tire stop there in that number 28 as he goes through. Tanner Bethea, Jeremy Brown, Josh Parrish still showing in the pits for me, down multiple laps. So they're not out, but it looks like they do have some damage, and there's a gaggle coming in off of turn 4.
Yes, indeed. I think that is a trio of sorts. We see Chilcutt. We see Ballier there. We see there was one other driver, Jalen Handcamp there. Just kind of put all the words into one syllable there. Just kind of jam it up and put it into one bottle. Speaking of bottles, buy yourself a bottle of hot sauce. Head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Lokahatchee Classic Golden Garlic and Palm Beach Pineapple, or even the South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series. See which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. You can watch that on the IDK Player YouTube channel. John Ramos does a phenomenal job along with Hunter Sleppy on Monday nights. Hunter will be with me on Thursday nights. But again, that's rickshotsauce.com.
Tell you what, put some hot sauce on this race. You still have battles going through the field here as we continue around. Drivers still not giving things up here. As we've got a good battle on screen coming through, and I mean, look at this. Just trucks still fighting.
Yeah, Jonathan Evans, he's getting by Herschel there. Remember, Evans, he, I think, missed his pit box or had a pit box issue of some sort. But he is battling here in the top 15 at present. Somebody's disappearing there. Going up front to the second spot, we find the likes of Mr. Brian Mercurio here. He is now 2.5 seconds behind our race leader. And he's trying to make something happen here. But, you know, and this kind of surprises me, Brad, because at this track, I don't want to say it's easy because we saw the fall off. We saw what these guys are going through. I don't want to say this is easy, but I expected this to kind of be more of a pack race. This race has turned much more handling oriented with more separation than I ever would have forecasted.
I'm 100% with you there, because as I watch things go through, you know, I really thought we'd have, you know, the packs a lot tighter through. Really, what we're seeing is, you know, the most pack oriented is who do you pit with on a green flag stop? Who's your buddy? Who's your friend? And who do you turn to when the world is ending? Well, if you're a driver, the green flag pit stop is the world ending. So you find a friend, you pit with them, and then you get back out in the mix. But even then, it seems like these trucks are really able to keep that individual run going for a long time. And Sebastian Marin, I mean, in that number 2332, just gone and out, 3 seconds up in the lead and not looking back. But he's still got to make one more green flag stop, and we'll see if that 9400 I rating he has will play together and make that green flag stop flawless.
If I was him, I would pit it as early as possible at this point, because you want to make whenever you're having a dominating race, you want to take the least amount of variables and put them in play. And at this point, I don't know. Would you rather pit earlier and just have it done and out of the way, or would you rather pit later? But I think he's coming down this time by. He seems to really be hugging that line. He is. He's got a huge lead, but he's still going in with a head of steam. Light it down there. Bog it down. See, when he has this big of a lead, I would have thought he would have bogged it down a little bit, played cautious, but complete opposite at play there.
Here's what's crazy, though. Looking at his lap times, he was still the fastest truck on track.
Caution on the Speedway. Philip Groner in the 11. That was Sebastian in the pits. How is this going to affect him? Is he still on the lead lap? Is this going to be the road course logic where he might end up being the leader again after this? But let's see what happened to the 11. I think this actually wasn't the 11. I think it was the guy in front. Let's see. 30,
my jaws.
30 of Miller, sideways, hospital wobble. Oh, he just got clipped.
That is heartbreak and a half, because there's nothing that Groner could have done there going through. I mean, he's clean, he's running, he had the room, the 30 there, just, I mean, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And
yeah, lots of wiggle, and then
thank you.
Yeah, just pure bad luck for Groner there. Just absolutely nothing he could do is get one more quick look at it from Barney. Barney had an amazing look at this.
And there's your caution lights. That was a quick reaction there from the flag stand. I hate to report, looking P14. Well, actually give it time, because we got to get guys to stop. So Marin might have actually been thrown the absolute lifetime of a miracle. Beckner might be very lucky as well. Conrath, Handcamp, and Chillicott might be in very good positions. Let's let these pit stops cycle, because still plenty of trucks that need to pit, and those that need to pit now will end up cycling through.
Yeah, Marin.
Somebody might have got handed a lifeline.
Yeah, Marin gets the golden horseshoe of the race here, stays on the lead lap, and in fact is our race leader. Now, the only caveat to that, and this, I guess if you want to say if there's any saving grace plausible at all for somebody else to win this race, it's that he has about 2 green flag laps on his tires.
Yeah, but even then, those were pace laps, so I don't... Is it going to make that much of a difference?
One hard lap and one pace lap. So again,
I don't even think he had a. Actually, no, I don't even think he had like a push lap or anything, because the caution came out while he was in the pits.
Oh, fair enough. So, but that's the only potential plausible thought there. And you can see. Look at this. We have the matter of from 16th Anna Sogat, Kane, Beckner, Grant, Conrath, Handcamp, Chilcutt, Senesac, Jake Nichols, Jake Fisher, Stravato, Love. All these guys are going to be pulling the wave around car. They are ahead of the pace car, or rather behind the pace car, but they are ahead of the race leader, and that's how, of course, it works. If you line up ahead of the leader, you will get a free wave, and you won't be allowed to pit, but you'll get to go right around the track and join the tail end of the field. Circa, I don't remember what year it was, but probably up until the early mid-2000s in NASCAR, they would actually start the race like that. The leader would be about 20th in line, and eventually NASCAR decided, yeah, it's probably a bad idea. Let's just let him go back around.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that. And I do want to point out everybody from P28 down is 1 lap down at least. Going through, so still plenty of things. And well, when all is said and done in this cycles, I think green flag stops and gaps are no longer a question here. I don't think tire stints are going to be a question. Your top 15 all on brand new tires, all full of fuel, and they will be able to run their way all the way to lap 120 in this race. And well, lap 94 of 120, let's just go ahead and pop this one wide open, and this is going to be a absolutely wild finish. And I think that was our second caution of the night.
Yes, indeed. I think our first one was lap number 5, but as the old adage always says, cautions breed cautions. Are we done? Is this the start of a cluster, or is that just a little blemish in what will be a very clean run here at Texas? Be 25 laps to go. Barney hasn't really had to work that hand here today, hasn't had to work that shoulder, because these guys have been on their minding their P's and Q's here today. But let's see what happens here with the restart. Pace car is in. Pace truck into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Will anybody have anything for that number 32?
That inside line checked up hard on that restart there. The 8 checking up very hard with the 86. A little bit of contact between Andrew Pacioli and I believe Peyton Howe behind as well. But as they come through 1 and 2, you can see everybody pretty well clean. Somebody was all the way down on the apron there. I believe that is a truck coming out of the pits. Philip Groner, actually, I believe. Up front, though, look at this. They were going 3 wide for a split second. This is gloves off territory, Corey. As we're coming in with 25 to go, you might as well just send it all to the fences, see what sticks, and fight your way up if you can. But nobody giving Sebastian Marin troubles on this lap 95.
On board with Pacioli there. He is in the 4th spot to that outside, and all the while these guys are behind Sebastian Marin, going side by side. When they're side by side, that kind of creates an easier opportunity for him to pull away, which he doesn't even need help to do that. He can just do it all by his lonesome. Are we 3 abreast just behind that? We were for a brief moment back to 2 by 2. As we will complete yet another lap here at Texas, closing in on the century mark here in the Area Truck Series.
And as we bring this through, look at this, still pushing through into sunset here in the Lone Star State, and nobody feeling lonely other than Sebastian Marin going through. 7:48 p.m. virtual time here. Beautiful track temp, 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 72 air, and there it is. There's the around.
Pacioli sort of goes around there, not quite, but he is gonna be an unhappy fella there. I mean, not showing it there. He is really, I mean, I'd be punching my steering wheel right now. He is really showing that that patience there to be able to deal with that. But let's see what happened. We kind of saw it live, but let's see what happened. We're gonna need to play. We're going to need to play detective a little bit more on that. Let's go from one of our top-down cams.
Let's see here. So this is top down.
Yeah, he chopped down on him. At first, I thought the other driver kind of forced the hole there, but looking back on it, he certainly kind of closed the door on the 89 of Batby.
Yeah, Pacioli's spotter, I think, called all clear just about a 1/10 of a second too slow to where it actually was there. Thankfully, again, you know, no huge damage done for that truck, but he does lose pretty significant positions down into P12 now. He's into the pits. Casey Lukaitis is into the pits. Conrath, Beckner. You got a good chunk of the midfield coming in. I think they're just feeling like, you know, you've got the fresh tires sitting in the pits, nothing to lose there.
Yeah,
might as well use it.
Yeah, precisely. Beckner in, just one of our onboard drivers we've had here today. He is, again, this is mid-20s. Let's take a look. We'll switch it over on our graphic, and you'll be able to see the driver that has the zeros next to their name. That means they just exited the pits there. A couple different strats at play, but looks like Casey Lukaitis in the 15th spot in that number 50 automobile. JRockGaming.com. He will be the first one, and I mean, I can't imagine it'll be too big of a difference, but we saw a 1.5 of fall off as I just about fell out of my chair. 1.5 of fall off, so maybe after 10 laps, maybe that's about 0.3 of fall off, so maybe it'll amount to something.
I mean, what's the worst that happens? Locatus finishes P15 when he was pretty well already sitting P15. I mean, he's going to gain something out of this. I don't know if it's going to be a run all the way to Marin to try to get a pass done, because, again, Sebastian Marin's been bloody quick all night, but we'll see what happens here. And if you can get some teammates together, if you're Casey Locatus, find some teammates in the mix here, your Powerhouse Racing team, and see if you can't just powerhouse it forward. Again, what's the worst that happens here? You're coming up on 20 to go. You got to mix something up here to get to the end.
Exactly that. There's no point in just settling for what you already had. And again, 7:30, pushing 8 o'clock sim time here, based out of Texas in early May. So perhaps I thought we'd be under the lights by now, but I think the lights will probably turn on just as we're probably taking the checkered flag here today. So sun may be a little bit of an issue for some of these drivers. Stay tuned for Thursday night. We will be back live with the Florida State Builders Pro Series, and that will be from the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as they were on Monday for the Cup Series. And then, as Brad alluded to a little bit earlier, it'll be a triple header next week from the Watkins Glen International Raceway. And then the week after that, we'll be going to 2 different circuits again, Rockingham and... Actually, no, we will be covering Rockingham in each of our series, but the Cup Series will be going to Wilkesboro. So getting to a point in the season where we're no longer having triple headers, having different tracks at each. So for the drivers who participate in all series, that just gives them a little bit more work to do.
I like it seeing things mix up, because it means the drivers have to really prepare. They have to be on their P's and Q's, and again, you kind of get a little bit of extra work, but you've got to just be a strong driver at that point. It's one of those that, you need to be able to jump in the truck, jump in the car, and put down laps. As we come in 20 to go here when we cross the line, who can put in the laps to take on Sebastian Marin here, Corey? I don't have an answer to that one. Ryan Andrews going to try, though, but Marin with a great restart here.
Yeah, he's been getting the jumps all race long. And look at Peyton Howell on the 52. Where have we haven't spoken of him to any serious level here today, but he finds himself in the 2nd spot as we take 20 laps to go here at Texas. You can see that darkness, as I alluded to, is really starting to come over the speedway. I mean, there's still plenty of visibility, but it is certainly a little darker than some of these guys may prefer it to be. But either way, here comes that number 52 right to the rear decklet of the leader. First real challenge Marin seen all event.
Yeah, Marin actually getting some pressure here from Hal. I think Hal has just saved enough in the tank to really give some pressure here as we go through, and just not able to clear him yet, but doggone it, he gave it the college try, and that's all you can ask for. Defensive goes Marin. Marin has to go very defensive to the inside. You see the chaos behind him, but he's looking right in that right-hand side mirror. He's looking for that 52. 52 gives him a little bump because he's wiggling. He's wiggling. He's wiggling. Send it on around. Can Hal get past? No, he's going to hold behind.
And there's a famous inside look there as the bump draft takes place. He's looking to that outside lane. I don't think it's going to work, but what he's trying to do is more so get momentum that'll carry him down the back straightaway here. He has enough gap where he can spare the space down to the inside, blocking the lane. This, I think, is probably the best position to be. I would rather actually be the 52 outside of 3 and 4. Pinches it on down, might get the momentum down the front. No, he doesn't. Now we are blocking all over. This is a risk at best here, a serious risk. This ain't gonna end pretty, Brad.
3 wide, we go into 1, and there it is. Marin gets hit. He's up into the wall. He saves it, but he's losing some serious position. Andrew and Hal going to battle it up front. Bring that 89 to Matthew Batby in the mix. Batby going to bat 100, and, well, he's going to try, and at 52, Peyton Howell is going to lose some serious positions. I'm sure that race controller are going to take a look at that one. Admin maybe not play too kindly to how that happened.
I mean, you got to look at what you were batting. Oh, my goodness.
Big wreck in the background. Mason Kane in that one, I can tell you.
09 is in it.
Trying to look and see where that 32-23 is at. I think Marin's truck is absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that angle is of no use to us, and that is just absolutely catastrophic for Marin here, because obviously had the race dominated. 49, you can see the 49 got loose. He got turned, I believe. And then Marin goes from leading upwards of 100 laps in this race down to basically being a nobody with a damaged truck.
Tell you what, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near Marin when this is said
84
and
and the
done.
49, they got turned, and they could see Marin there stuck.
Mason Kane came out of nowhere and just absolutely plowed through the outside of 4. Doggone Mason Kane.
Yeah, so we'll, again, cautions breed cautions. Would you believe that this race was clean as a whistle for so long? Probably wouldn't have believed it, but that's what we got here. And trying to just go back quickly here without taking too much time, trying to see if I can find the cue for that battle of the lead, because we just saw the amount of slicing and dicing that they were doing, Brad, for that race lead. There was no way that was going to sustain itself. It was just a recipe for disaster with all that blocking that was going on up front. And I think I got it queued up here for us.
Yeah, so let's get this replay. I mean, look at this. So we're going to slice in, slice through. And here's the thing is, you know, Marin was
he opened
driving.
the door. He opened the door for him. With all that slicing and dicing, he opened the door. We'll try to get a better look at that.
You know, here's the thing for Marin in that situation. I know that you're really, really trying to defend, but you also have to remember you still got to drive forward. You can't stay in the rearview mirror. So I know there was a little bit of side contact there, and again, I don't know how that'll be viewed through.
It's the last look at it, then we'll switch back. You can see going low. All right, now the 52 is going high. Going low again, blocks him there. Now he leaves the bottom door open and tries to shut it, and now it was actually filled by Howell and by Andrew there. So,
see, at that point, Marin should have just stayed high. When he cut back up high, he should have just held it high and just fought it through onto the backstretch, got the run off at 2, and then could have fought it back in 3 and probably got his lead back.
Yeah, it was just tough call there. I mean, sometimes is it better to lose the position and still know that, you know, I'm the fastest truck out here, I might be able to get it back? Or do you feel like because you lost control of the race that ultimately, you know, your race was over with there? So I guess he did not want to lose control of the race, which is obviously quite understandable. Mercario in this mix also, he's fallen back to 5th through the shuffle, and now we have a top 4. Also, Jonathan Evans in the 26. What is he doing up here? We haven't spoken of him, you know, in a race winning capacity all event, and look at him here trying to, you know, throw a wrench into things.
I mean, he started 4th, so he's right where he started. But yeah, he's pretty well since the race start. Hasn't been much of a factor. He's in a good place. Couple other trucks to watch here. Kuntz and Rocky Boyd up 21 and 26 places respectively. Sorry, 15 and 21. And Herschel's up 26. Their trucks to watch here on the restart. Ryan Andrew with control of the field. The first time we've had a different driver in control. And he is going to take things off here very quickly. And we've got trucks in the grass.
Yeah, that's typically not ideal, to say it very generically here, but we'll figure things out as we exit turn number 2 here. Again, the lights starting to turn on here. Things are getting very dark, but as Kenny Chesney said, things are getting hotter as the sun goes down. Tell that to the 67 of Jalen Handcamp.
And man, that's a unfortunate one to see here for him coming through. Let's get a quick PTR TV replay of this one and see what happened. And well,
that's Travato, Anna Sogak there. Anna Sogak with the little bit of a rear tap there. Well, he's blinking, so that's certainly not helping. Did he blink at a really bad time? Down low. And nope. I mean, that was a little bit of net Cody, but ultimately, what's that rule? You block once, shame on, I don't know. Eventually, there's a clever saying for it, but ultimately, you can block once and it's okay. You block twice, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure here. As we do have actual lights now here at Texas Motor Speedway. As I predicted towards the end, the lights have turned on here. So no longer can you blame the darkness. We are now illuminated.
Yeah, good to see the lights on here at this point. This will be some good racing into the end. We'll see how this one plays out. I kind of don't know how this is going to go. I want to put, again, I'm looking here. Everybody's fairly even on tires. We got a few drivers pit through, bring it around. It'll be just a good, hard shootout to the end. But again, I kind of said it when we got that 25 to go point, and we started seeing that first series of cautions kind of hit, where cautions cause cautions cause cautions. I kind of said that everybody was going to be taking the gloves off and things were going to get wild, but really was not expecting this. So we'll see what comes out of this one when it's all said and done. It's going to be interesting to see if there's any green-white checkers that get involved and how they fight things out.
Mercurio here, he's in the third spot. He gained a little bit of time there being on that inside lane for the restart. We'll see what he can muster this time by for this upcoming restart down to the inside. But Andrew and Howell up front. I mean, we saw Howell have that amazing short run pace. They're all on the same set of tires at this point, so we don't really have that to be a consideration in the race. It is solely going to be a matter of just getting your truck in the right spot, getting the right push from behind, and ultimately just playing as good of defense as you can play offense.
Yeah, I think the big thing, though, with that defense is you don't want to do what we saw there and swerve all over the track. Try to hold your line. Try to just hold things out and shut things in where you can. It's going to be interesting to see how Ryan Andrew does that. Mercurio, though, in third, I think he's going to be one to really watch out for, that 82. That 82 has been playing second fiddle all night, and I think Mercurio is going to be very much ready to be up in the front. So if Peyton Howell and Ryan Andrew don't nail this restart and don't absolutely get the run through 1 and 2, I have a feeling that we'll be calling a new leader once they come around.
We'll just, as a little note here in the back, Travis Beckner is the highest running driver on tires right now. Well, I guess everybody has tires, but he has the freshest tires of the bunch, about 6 laps fresher. He is going to be in that 12th position. So, I mean, the rate they're going, never say never. It just takes another big one, and you could gain 3, 4, 6 spots at a time. I mean, we saw, if you watch the Xfinity Series race, we saw Austin Hill go from 5th to 1st and half a lap at Martinsville just by how the cookie crumbled. So we'll see what happens here at Texas. We started off a little bit rough, then we had about a 70 some odd lap green flag run, and now it's been very much a struggle to run these last 20 circuits around the Texas Motor Speedway for the Area Truck Series. But our starting lineup has been shuffled. Our race dominator is all the way back in 26th, and who is going to come out of the woodwork and win tonight's race? I thought I was going to 1 to green there, set myself up just to swing and a miss as we go to 1 to go this time by.
Yeah, let's see how this one plays out here. New bets on the night. If anyone has a bet, feel free to place it in chat.
Yeah, I'm done. This isn't fantasy where we get to pull a car out of the garage, and even if we did, it was past halfway. So I bet on Marin.
There
was a good bet. I forget who you bet on.
Mine was Brad Slaughter Jr., who's currently running P11. So I think by that regard, technically, I'm leading you in points for the fantasy series.
I think to quote how the kids say these days, he's been pretty mid here today. He's not been bad, not been amazing, just kind of been right around that top 10 as I cover my little back end here. I think did I get all my ad reads in early? Wow, go me. Covered all the P's and Q's here. Again, the Area Truck Series here at the Texas Motor Speedway, and we'll see how this does play out here. Again, I think that number 8 is going to be in a really good spot. A little bit of a blink from Peyton Howell there, but we saw the speed he had on that last run, but that speed means nothing if his connectivity is going to be astray here. But here we come off turn number 4. Take him for this restart, Brad.
Yeah, and as they come off of 4, the one thing I will say is there's some pretty significant storms coming across the Midwest. So Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, Oklahoma, Texas, they're hitting some storms. Could play into the connection, but either way, 9 laps to go here as we go. And there's the jump. The 52 tried to get it. He got scared, I think, of getting called out for passing the leader. And now we're back green. Ryan Andrew there with a good lead. Watch out for Mercurio, though, as Mercurio is going to be looking very, very good. Meanwhile, Ryan Andrew holding on to it through 1 and 2. Can he keep that together? Mercurio blocking way down low. Make a big swerve, Peyton now. Dop on, guys. I thought we learned not to do this already, but let's do it. Why don't we? Into 3 and 4 we go. Double file around. Track's getting dark. You got to really pick your points here. No headlights on these trucks as they come through. Ryan Andrew will lead this lap. 7 laps to go as they cross the line.
Yeah, we are right doing it. It's a bump drafting for the lead. Howell, he was going to the outside of Marin earlier with success, and now he's going to try to go to the outside of Andrew, but that opens the door for Matthew Batby in the 89. Now we're starting to run a super speedway straightaway line. We're going as low as we can, trying to block that real estate here. 52 straight bump drafting the 8 through 3 and 4 here. That is a little bit light on the rear here at 3 and 4. You need that downforce. Can't have downforce if your rear tires are in the air.
Yeah, and as they come through down on the front stretch, look at this swerving all over the back, but it is still the 52 Peyton Howell, Ryan Andrew battling it out. I like Peyton Howell on the high line there. I think that's a good position, but that gap opens up a bit more, and, well, just mind yourself. Make sure you got enough room. They're going to run each other all the way down, and there's a big spin from the 26. Back up in the field. This is going to get real ugly. Somebody upside down. Who is that?
Yeah, well, it all started with a wreck with the 26. I think Mercurio may have got a little bit feisty there. Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, a little big block by Evans. And so obviously that block went wrong. The 71 Tanner Love involved. Let's just get one more look at that. I mean, ultimately, when you go down to the flat, when you block, nobody has to give you space to come back onto the racetrack here. Mercurio was off the racetrack, and the 26 did not leave him a lane there.
And then look at that, just everything
I think that was Gabe Herschel. Oh, yeah, we got to get an onboard of this one.
Yeah, we do. I was going to say, if you got a static turn 3 cam, that'd be a good one to see here. Hop on board with Herschel. Watch this. This is a hard lick coming through, and there's absolutely nothing anyone could do to avoid it because he just dropped straight up, and I mean, you can't avoid that. It's just game over.
Yeah, and just about went on his lid. Oh, who was that? That was Senesac, who 87 years after the wreck still ended up getting some impact from it here. So somebody getting their free pass, I believe, to the outside there. That puts another driver on the lead. I think that's Josh Previtt there, and that number 9 Irby Toyota Sonpar. Don't know what that is, but I like to give people their ad reads there. But this should put us into unsponsored overtime here, Brad. So a race that we thought was going to go clean and green after that initial caution. Let's take a look. It's not worth playing the game at this point, but we've gone from 1 caution and about a 90-lap green flag run to 6 cautions here, all in the last 25 laps. Seth Noel, fastest lap of the race. Where'd that come from?
Seth Noel's been pretty quick. The big thing that I will say, Seth Noel's been quick, but at the same time, that 23:32, it was very consistent. Marin, and Marin's all the way back up in the 16th, by the way, here. We'll see how that plays out for him, if he can at least salvage a top 10 for what could have been here on the night coming through.
Why is it so dark?
I don't know. I was going to ask you that because it's pitch black on my side right now. Of course, I have the different pictures to you, but
so the lighting is on, and the light is actually transmitting. I don't want to bore people with the technicalities here, but basically, there's a certain point when the lights turn on, like visually, you'll see the light poles turn on, but then there's a point about 10-15 minutes later when the light actually works. It's called night mapping, something that nobody cares about. It's just how iRacing works. I can tell you the lights are on. They are actually emitting, but it's just, it still is dark. I don't know if I have any filters on here.
No,
making it look darker than it's supposed to be, but
our feeds look the exact same. I mean, I'm looking, again, just a little peek behind the curtains. I've got a separate feed up along with the broadcast feed that you all see, and I mean, mine is just as pitch black as yours, so...
All right, I just want to make sure. I do have a little bit of a boost here, YouTube, YouTube, what's that word I'm looking for when a video renders to the YouTube? Encodes. There's a little bit of quality loss there, so I kind of boost a little bit of color just to kind of make it look pretty, but... either way, as long as you can see what's going on, then that's all that matters. But come through 3 and 4. Oh no, is that the light? I can't tell, but does not matter. We're just yabbering on, and this is going to keep us in regulation. We are taking lap 119, so this is kind of a, if you want to call it a free green-white checker, because it's 2 laps to go, but it is still in regulation, leaves those other 3 on the table if we so need them. Hopefully we don't, but you never know, we may. But coming through that restart zone for potentially the final time, Andrew will get on that accelerator pedal, and let's get 3 more miles of racing underway tonight.
Andrew not with the best takeoff there compared to what he's had. That 52 of Peyton Howe looking pretty good. That 82 behind of Mercurio also looking good. We come through 1 and 2. The 52, a little bit of a rear bumper tap there. Another tap. I mean, they're running all the way down. Look at this. This is just hard racing here in Texas. Who feels like the cowboy? Who's the hero of the story? And well, who's going to be left out in the field? We're going to find out of 3 and 4. Watch this one, Corey. Bump, and a white flag.
All right, so we're going to finish this thing one way or another. We've had blocks worthy of Legoland here, and I think a little bit of a bump and run, washing up the track, getting them loose, gets them squirrely up the track into no man's land is Ryan Andrew. That gives Peyton Howell the race lead, but he has lost his momentum. He is now fighting with Jordan Kuntz, who has the run through 3 and 4 on the outside lane like 2 trailer park girls. He's trying to go around the outside. Mercurio looking for a peek to the inside, but Peyton Howell will survive, and he will win here at Texas.
I mean, he gave Jordan Kuntz a good old side tap there coming through 3 and 4. He gave the bump and run through 1 and 2.
Somebody, I see a deck lid this flopping there, so someone had some issues.
Chillicott carrying some damage there. Looks like Chillicott went for a good old spin through 3 and 4. Who else was in on this one? I'm trying to tell. The 35 and then the 11. Philip Groner had a moment there in the background as well. So
let's just kind of go one more time around. We'll kind of get what happened off of turn number 4. Ryan Andrew has to settle for a 5th here. Going on the rear deck lid, you can see, let's see how much contact there really was. Yeah, that's a good old-fashioned short track nudge there. And 1 to be nice, 2 for good measure. And then he got pushed out of the track even further by Matthew Batby. And then here comes Jordan Kuntz. I thought this was going to work. I thought he was going to actually be in the best spot. But that little bit of contact, they were both fighting for the same lane. That lost enough momentum, and Mercurio did not have the opportunity to make a 3-wide pass move. So Peyton Howell will get to celebrate here tonight, and he led a massive amount of laps, 1. But he led the one that matters.
1 lap, all that matters. Nobody remembers who led lap 1. Everyone's going to remember that lap 120 was Peyton Howell, though. I mean, great run from him there. That final lap, I mean, he channeled some short track run there with a little bit of bravery to get that done. And Lady Luck also was on his side. When it's all said and done, he'll be drinking the victory fuel tonight.
I'll be drinking that victory fuel indeed. You get your caffeine-free flavors like Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, or Lucky Lemon. Each can packed with electrolytes charged with vitamins and kid-friendly. Get 10% off your order with code AREAiRacing at checkout. Our race results here are as follows. Peyton Howell gets that win by 7/100ths over Kuntz. Mercurio settles for a 3rd. Rocky Boyd in 4th. Ryan Andrew settles for a 5th, leading there at the white. Slaughter gets a 6th. Beckner gets a 7th. Batby was about 5th, I think, on turn number 2, settles for 8th. Conrath and Jake Nichols rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, from there we're going to go P11, Gary Waterworth, and then Garrett D. Grant in P12. Sebastian Marin dominated this race, but in the end it's 13th when it's all said and done. Jake Fisher in 14th, Trey Edison in P15, Justin Anasogak in P16, Casey Lakatis P17, Bryce Sinisak in 18th, Mason Kane and Tanner Love round out our top 20.
21st through 30th as follows. Gabe Herschel 21st, Alex Chilcutt 22nd, Danny Ware in 23rd, Philip Groner. He had some bad luck, settles for 24th, Tyler Hallman 25th, then we have Noel, Denise, Smith, Pierce, and Previtt rounding out our top 30. And we'll just let the rest scroll by there, Brad, as we get ourselves situated for our post-race show.
Yeah, this post-race show is going to be a good one. I have a feeling that if you're Peyton Howe, you're going to be feeling about cloud 11 when it's all said and done, I would think. Had a good run there. Let's actually grab Peyton Howe and get a quick word in. So, Peyton, I got to ask, you led one lap, but when it's all said and done, that one lap is the only one that matters. It's that final lap. How does it feel to get that 52 in victory lane?
Dude, that was, I'm shaking after that. I mean, I guess I can say I'm sorry to Ryan. I'm tired of getting blocked. You've seen Seb block me 4 times on the straightaway. I don't race like that. You block, you pay. So I'm not gonna get blocked anymore. But that was fun. I'm glad we could put the 609 powerhouse truck in victory lane tonight, and it's my first win at Texas. How about it? Let's go, dude.
You know what? I didn't even notice this until just now. You went back to back for the win. Went in New Hampshire last week as well. So now you've won 2 in a row. Especially with this being a first win at Texas. How's that feel for you?
Dude, that's badass. You're racing against some of the best in the series, and I mean, it comes down to a little bit of pushing and shoving, but that's all. I mean, that's all you can do. I did everything I could to not wreck him, and I didn't wreck him. I moved him. It's the second week in a row I've had to move somebody, but I mean, I hope he's not too mad. I mean, he blocked, and I moved him after he blocked, so I expect something coming back next week or leading up here in a couple weeks. He'll probably get me back, but it's whatever.
I definitely think that might be something to watch out for here, Peyton. And I've got to ask you, next week is Watkins Glen. How you feeling about taking the truck around a road course?
I feel like I can run top 5. Great road racer. I would say myself. I'm probably not as good as Brian, Pacioli, and all of them. So I'm hoping just for a top 5. I mean, if we can, try to race for the win, but I'm sure Brian or Pacioli will dog walk us next week.
Well, Peyton, it was fun to watch you here tonight. Congratulations on getting that number 52 into this victory lane here in area, and we will see you next week at Watkins Glen.
Real quick, can I thank my sponsors, Adrenaline Captures, Icon Apparel, Florida State Builders, Sport Clips, Nerditudes, HelloFresh, Race Stop Suicide, Blaze Designs. He's the one that made the truck that I race most every week. I don't know how to say his last name, but Matt Liveries. He painted this one up, so it's a little April Fool's joke on the truck. But yeah, y'all for putting on the broadcast, everybody for watching, Ben for letting me run this season, and see y'all at Watkins Glen.
Awesome. Take it easy, Peyton. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, and now I will catch up with the number 99 of Jordan Kuntz, who really kind of snuck one out here today. All right, Jordan, started 21st here on the day. Kind of had a solid run, in and around the top 10 most of the day, and then that caution spree towards the end worked in your favor. And here you are, second step on the podium, man. How'd that one come to fruition for you?
It was definitely a lot of luck with the strategy, staying out and getting the caution at the right time. Feel like I definitely could have gotten an easy top 15 there if it stayed green, but the caution came out at just the right time for myself, and just able to avoid all the carnage and blocking that was happening in front of me. Kept my truck clean with minimal contact, and managed to race really hard on the last lap to get a P2.
Yeah, kind of reminiscent of the back straightaway to Indy 500 with the amount of blocking we saw. But I mean, this race really had a lot of different stages, so not so much in segments, but in the way that it raced. We had that huge green flag run. We had a lot of spread out action, guys struggling with the handling, and then the track cooled down, the cautions came out, everyone got back together. How did you transition, from those long green flag runs and then getting yourself into that short run mindset towards the end?
This trick is definitely one of the easier tricks I feel for short run, as it's a lot more full throttle than most, and it was not really much of a change because you were going a lot slower on the long runs, and I had practice from qualifying, of course, so it's quite easy to switch. It was just more about judging who was going to be aggressive, where they were going to be aggressive, and how to avoid being a part of their aggressiveness.
Precisely that. Next week we head to the road course at Watkins Glen, up the not the Irish Hills. Some kind of hills in New York. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but what kind of road racer are you? What can we expect out of you turning left and right next week?
I've definitely been known for some good road racing and NASCAR cars, so hoping for a good result. I don't know how good these people are on road course, so I just hope for a good finish, keep the truck clean, and hope to get out another finish like this next week.
All right, absolutely. Sometimes you got to be good, sometimes you got to be lucky, and it worked out for you today, man. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least here on the evening, Brad has caught up with Brian Mercurio.
Brian, it was a good run from you here. Started third, finished third, but I don't think that tells the whole story of your race. Do you?
No. I mean, if we didn't get that caution there, I believe that was for Philip getting turned or wrecked by somebody there in the last set of pit stops. We would have probably finished second to Sebastian, so I definitely would have taken another second place. But yeah, definitely that third place. I mean, even in the late stages there, fell back as deep as sixth. So to be able to bounce back and finish third again, you know, I think I finished everywhere on the podium now so far. Only 4 races in, so take that for what you will.
Yeah, I think it was a good race all the way through. You definitely were fighting there up front when it came through. But, you know, Brian, I got to ask you, this run here at Texas, this track seemed to really, in that mid run, just that long green flag run, really seemed to come into its own. How'd you feel about that mid, 70 laps or so that ran just straight green?
I was actually hoping for a little bit more. I think it was last year in Road to Pro. We were able to actually run almost anywhere on the track, both turns. I mean, you'd never think you'd be able to do that in turns 1 and 2. Run anywhere but the bottom, but there were guys running the second lane, there were guys almost running the fence, and then 3 and 4 everyone was moving around. So I was hoping we'd get to that point, but I think based on the time of day that we ran, just weren't able to. The track wasn't hot enough, we didn't fall off enough, especially turns 3 and 4. We were pretty much full throttle for majority of the run, so never really got a chance to kind of move around and explore and try to figure out other lanes. And I thought that maybe pitting later and having better tires, I'd be able to run down Sebastian, but he just he had all those lap trucks that cycled right in front of him, so he was basically just getting towed around there. So any advantage that I had on tires, I wasn't really gonna make it up, and at that point I was just gonna kind of accept finishing probably second, but then everything kind of happened in the final couple laps and finished third, so I'm really not too upset.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be upset about it at all. Still on the podium here. And Brian, what's going to be the goal going into Watkins Glen? How are you as a road course driver in the truck? I
feel like I'm pretty good. I won one of the splits for Road to Pro at Watkins Glen last year. So, if I can get the pole, I feel like I can win. Even being second, it's just you're stuck right behind somebody, and even on the road courses, dirty air is really bad. So expecting another big points day. Unfortunately, lost the points lead here to Peyton, so as long as I can just keep banging out these podium finishes here, pretty much we'll stay in contention for the points lead. And Coast to Coast Racing still has the team points lead here through 4 races, so that's really big here on out. Gabe was having a great run until he got wrecked late, or caught up in a wreck late, so a lot of positive momentum going forward.
Absolutely. It's going to be awesome to see how the team goes, especially now since all of the babies are gone. So, Brian, we're going to let you go take it easy, man. Congratulations on the P3. We'll catch up with you next week.
Appreciate it. If you don't mind, real quick, just want to give a big thank you to everyone over at Coast to Coast who racing along with me this season. Tim, Jake, Gabe, and Sean, whenever he can get a chance to fill into the driver's seat. Thanks to PrestonPartis.com, Rebel Rabbit High Seltzer, T-Patch Designs, Paul Fod Racing, What's on Tap, Moras.live, all the partners who support us here at Coast to Coast. Appreciate you guys putting on a good broadcast. I know I have a bunch of people cheering on the Coast to Coast boys here in the chat, so it's always fun knowing that I got an audience watching along, and I appreciate you guys.
Awesome. And thank you, Brian. Take it easy, man.
Same to you.
All right, so that'll wrap up our post-race show here today. Another great run by Area here today. I don't know why I moved myself down there. Whoops-a-daisy. It's getting late. But Brad, another great race, a long green flag run. But, you know, sometimes, as they say, things get hotter as the sun goes down.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good run. That long green flag run, I think, was well needed for all the drivers to put them in the rhythm. And then, well, I think when everybody realized they were so close to the end, it was just gloves off. It was running through. It was hard racing. But I've come to expect nothing less from Area. The drivers know when to really turn the pressure up. They know when to, you know, keep it low and slow. They understand they don't win the race on lap 60. They know they got to get closer to lap 120 to find the win. And in the end, they did just that and put on an absolute doggone amazing show.
Exactly that. So again, thanks for tuning in here to PTR TV. Make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube side of things. And if you are watching on Twitch, make sure you hit the follow button and help the channel out on the Area iRacing Twitch. And consider subscribing for $5 a month. Get all those fun little emotes. Brad will be live tomorrow night with the Elbows Out Racing League, and they will be doing some multi-class road course racing, so you can stay tuned right around 8:30 tomorrow and enjoy that. And we'll be back with the Florida State Builders Pro Series on Thursday night here on PTR TV at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Still looking to fill in some Mondays here on the channel, so if you are a Monday league or you know anybody, have them visit PrimetimeRacingTV.com. Got a couple openings. Would love to have you guys featured here on the channel. That's going to be Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
See you.
We'll clear it.